basically an invitation from the team here in Wisconsin. I wanted to spend a little bit of time here to kind of help you guys understand more about credit, because credit is not taught in school, right? All the different subjects that we have in school, mathematics, English, science, and so forth, we never really apply it. But when real life happens where you have to go and buy a car, who's bought a car recently? Isn't that the worst experience? Yeah. Having to go in there, sitting in front of a salesperson, and really not knowing whether you're going to get the loan or not, maybe, what kind of car you want, what kind of pricing, what kind of interest rate. Because we definitely didn't go to school to learn that, right? We just know that we had to work from a certain hour of the day, make X amount of money, hopefully save a down payment to get there, but we're not even sure what kind of rate they're going to give us. So we're kind of like in a tight position because we weren't exactly prepared to go in there to buy a car, right? So I just kind of want to go over all the different things that happen around credit so that by the time you get out of here, if you just understand just a few principles and apply it right away, would that be of value to you? Yes. Because this is something I sit across from a client. The first thing a client would do is usually through a referral, like an attorney or an accountant or someone that heard about me. They would fly me out to meet them, sit across from them, pay an enormous amount of money, like Matt just said, anywhere from $8,000 on just to talk to me. I bill at $1,500 an hour. It's pretty high, but guess what? Every minute counts when you're going through to make sure that they're ready for a plan, right? They would fly me out to like Newport Beach. So a very typical story is these people made a lot of money in before 2008. They bought a lot of properties because they thought the market's going to keep going up. And all of a sudden in 2007, things started changing. The banks were having problems. Homes were being repossessed. I think everybody heard this story. If you didn't hear this story, you didn't live in the U.S. Okay? And then, especially in Las Vegas, where we are a service company, right after this whole financial debacle, all the rooms were vacant because nobody wanted to travel. Now, the whole hospitality industry in Vegas is tough because 70% of them were working in the casinos. So if the casinos were slow, what happens? No money. Everybody started cutting back on their hours, losing their jobs, and all their rental properties were gone. They couldn't find anyone to rent in it. So they ended up having to foreclose or short sell or live for many, many years in there worrying where they're going to be moving to. And a lot of these people were dancers or thinking that, oh my God, I'll just throw all my cash in there. It all went. And they started living off of their credit cards. How many of you guys have heard of this story, that they lived off their credit card? Because they had no other choice, right? So they kept living off their credit card, paying the minimum. But how long does that last? 2 years? 1 year? 4 years? But then it comes to a point where it just basically you can't pay the minimum anymore. Does that sound familiar? Because it happened to me. And I'm saying that because I'm trying to be real with you guys. I want you to know that it's not for only people that are more wealthy that happened. It happened across the board. Because when the banks are suffering, everybody else is suffering. When they're having a situation, it's very systemic. Systemic means it affects everyone across the board. You know what? Problems like this doesn't discriminate. They don't care if they're your race, female, male. It's going to affect everyone. So I am just being as real as possible. So when you leave here, I want you to be extremely prepared so that you're more aware. So number one thing, awareness. If you know what your financial situation is now, you can get some tips from me on how you can get out of it. How would you like that? And I'm engaging with you because I want you to know that everyone's been there and you're not alone, right? Each and every one of you, right? So I'm going to start with just some principles about credit so that you understand. How many of you guys know about Credit Karma? Raise your hand. Okay. Do you know what scores you get using Credit Karma? Please raise your hand. Yes. Stand up, please.
I got a 690 score.
No, but what kind of scores do you get from the 3 bureaus? Which bureaus do they give the score from?
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, wow. So you're logging on and you don't know? Who TransUnion. I'm writing this down because I want you guys to leave here knowing some really important things, okay? Okay, here we go. Credit Karma. It gives you kind of like a, can everyone see that? Okay. It gives you TransUnion and Equifax. That's 2 of the 3 scores, okay? There's 3 credit bureaus out there that house all your data. And realize this is data. They're making money off your data, whether it's correct or incorrect, right? So they could be mixing your name up with somebody's name that's similar, and all the crap that's wrong with her goes onto yours, okay? Is that right?
No.
But they're brokering that data to other people and making her score worse because the other person that had a similar name missed out and had some collection problems. So that's why it's important for you to monitor your credit and find out what's in there that you can correct before it becomes bad, right? How do you get the other score? The other company is called Experian, okay? How many people have heard of Experian? They're the toughest ones, you guys. These 2 here, Equifax is the easiest one, and they really screwed up, didn't they?
Yes.
How many of you guys have heard of the Equifax breach? How many of you guys think that it's affecting you? Equifax breach is hurting you? Nobody? Really?
I think it has to be.
Huh?
How do we know?
How do you know? Well, Equifax house all your data similar to all the other 2 bureaus. So if they opened up your data, they have your social security number, your driver's license, your mother's maiden name, everything they need to open anything they want. They opened the safe up and said, come in here and get all your data. They have all your data, you guys. 100% of your data is floating out on the dark web, being sold by one person to the next to the next. It's just a matter of time before things are going to start showing up that you owe. You opened a car, by the way, a few weeks ago, but you just don't know it until a year later. And you don't even drive a Hyundai. Is that funny? Not funny when she's going to have been sent to collection or being repo for a car she never bought, right? So the way you get your Experian score that's free, like Credit Karma, is a site called credit.com. How many of you have heard of credit.com? Yeah, that's pretty good. So these are free monitoring sites. It's not 100% accurate, but it gives you an idea of where you're at. So an estimate is better than no estimate, right? And it is free, but you have to do it right. So when you set up credit.com, and it gets to the point where they ask you for your phone number, very important, do not put your phone number. And I'll tell you why. Put a fake, like your partial number, because they're going to solicit you because it's a marketing company. Because they're tied into Lexington Law. How many of you heard of Lexington Law? They partnered up with Lexington Law. So when you sign up with them for free monitoring, they're going to call you and say, oh, you want to sign up for Lexington Law? It's annoying, isn't it? These solicitors. So to prevent that, just give them a make-up number. I know, it's funny, right? But this meeting here is for secrets, so I'm going to share with you guys a secret. Does that help?
Yeah.
So we're going to, you know that old saying, like, why buy the cow when you can get the milk for free? That's what's happening. So you're going to get some free reporting on Credit Karma and credit.com. So remember that. I'm going to test you later. Okay? All right. Let me play a little something about our services so you can get a kind of an idea of what we do. Okay? So the best, when someone asks you about a service, you always say, well, how do I know that service is good, right? What do people say about it? So I'm going to give you a little testimonial.
Hey, my name is Elizabeth Fabian in New Jersey, and I'm doing this video because I definitely want to give the hugest shout out to Leanne and her credit team over in ReCredit. Like, they have done amazing things for my credit, and I definitely want to share with you guys. What they did for me was they actually were able to get my score, which was in the upper 500s, to now almost an 800 credit score. And I am so excited about this because I, for one that had issues with my credit for such a long time. I would always apply for things and always get denied. And even if I did get approved, I was always having to pay so much interest because of my bad credit. But Leanne and her team did amazing things for me. Like I said, they got my score almost to an 800, which is so exciting. But this service, like I'm telling you, there's no other service like this out there. Not only did they help me with my credit, but they also helped me get approved for two $10,000 limit credit cards, another credit card for $5,000, and I actually earned this Jeep, like with the Jeep stipend program that I'm in. But what Leanne did, she actually helped me get a loan with a super low interest, which is, I'm so excited because I am actually gonna stay with money that I get this $500 stipend bonus sent to me, and my car payment is in the 300s, which is so awesome. So I cannot say enough how grateful I am